This is Annie Scogan, and I am one of the co-hosts of Head Over Heels Pageant Talk, and I want to thank you for listening to the following broadcast on Public House Media.
This is Katie, co-host of Coffee with Keith and Katie here on Public House Media. Once you are done with this episode, I hope you'll come check out my show, Coffee with Keith and Katie, where we talk about the adventures of our daily lives and relationship. A new show comes out every Tuesday and Friday at 8:30 p.m. Central. Don't forget to subscribe on iTunes so you never miss an episode of Coffee with Keith and Katie. Thanks again for checking out the following broadcast on Public House Media.
Are you living up to your potential or down to others' expectations? Do you feel like you're running someone else's life, someone else's race, or do you feel like you're living the life God intended you to live? We've been in situations where we're going to go down this life, we're doing this thing, and it just doesn't feel right. That, maybe we're wrapped up in the hustle and bustle, and we're aiming to please so many other people that we find ourselves going down a path that we weren't really meant to be on. Maybe it wasn't necessarily our choice to go down that path, but we're doing it because somebody else wanted us to be there. We've all done this. We've all then start to fall out of love with ourselves and really begin to feeling like a failure because we're quitting at something that really wasn't meant for us. And so this morning, my name is Meyer, and I'm founder of Choose to Rise Up. And today, I want to talk to you about really living your best life. I want to talk to you about reaching your full potential and the life that you want to live through finding your purpose and focusing on self-love. When we're trying to live the life somebody else has intended for us, we don't feel right. It feels kind of ugh. And it's because it's not part of your vibe. This morning's podcast is kind of inspired by a lot of things. It's kind of a conglomeration. It's one of those things where like God speaks down on you on like lots of different areas, and you kind of put together and be like, oh yeah, right. All the puzzle pieces start to fit. And so, this morning's PD routine, there was recent. All of that, and then some talks with friends lately, and just some things that God's laid on my heart this morning. It's all kind of come together, and I just want to share with you, that living your best life doesn't have to be complicated. We let it be complicated. We overcomplicate things as humans. We get frustrated and feeling like we're giving up, but then we feel like a failure because we're not doing what we need to do, and we feel frustrated, and we fall out of love with ourselves and fall out of love with life and fall out of love with what we're doing, and then it's just a downward spiral of mental and physical defeat. So today I want to give you 3 ways to reach your potential and live your best life and feel like you're fulfilling your purpose. Really connect with what you're good at, and go forward and do those things. And so my morning podcast that I listened to with Quote of the Day was with John Addison. And he was talking about, find the things that you're good at that you don't have to try. You're just good at things that you don't even have to try for. And then try at them, right? You're all given things. We're all given things that we're good at. We're naturally gifted in certain areas of our life. And, if you don't have to try at it, you're just not giving a lot of effort and you're good, that is probably an indication that you probably should try at that. You probably should pursue it more because that's probably the gift area that you've been given. So whether that is working with other people, whether that's, creating some sort of craft, whether that's working in some sort of industry, whether that's whatever it is, if it's speaking, if it's, some sort of doing something with manual labor with your hands, if it's whatever, if you're good at it and you find joy in it with minimal effort, it's probably something that you were meant to do. And so you should pursue that. You should go for it. And so one of the things other things I was reading this morning and digging into is that, if you're really wanting to work at something, if you want to get going on something, if you're stuck in something that you're doing because you thought you were going to love it, but yet you're not willing to let go of it because you're not a quitter, that's okay to let go of something that's not working. So giving up maybe makes you feel like a failure at the time, but when you look back at it, you're going to see the decision was really taking forward with your instincts and going with what made you feel good, what was a good thing for you. So this morning I want to give you 3 things that are going to help you move forward with your purpose. That are going to help you pick up the pieces of what life is supposed to be like and move forward with those types of things. So you're certainly not going to find yourself, unless you're able to finish what you start, jumping from one thing to another, relationship to relationship, diet to diet, things like that. You find yourself kind of hopping all over the place. And that's really you trying to find your purpose. It's really you trying to find something that's going to stick. And so I want to help you get out of that cycle. I want to help you identify what it is so that you don't have to keep hopping from one thing to another. And then you can just sort of like keep going, right? So, a lot of women that I work with in my coaching are all trying to find something. I was in that same boat. I was trying to find energy. I was trying to find faith. I was trying to find, who I was as a person and get clarity around that. But then I was, starting and stopping a lot of things. I would start eating well and it would get hard, and so I'd stop. I would start exercising and it would get hard, and then I would stop. I would try this new adventure and then I would stop. And there's so many things that you were just jumping from one thing to another. None of that makes you feel good. So when you find people that you can surround yourself with that are your tribe because you're doing something that you love, if you find people that you can find progress with, it's going to help you not only find success, but it's going to help you not feel like a failure doing everything that you're doing. So here are 3 things that you need to do if you're trying to find some success. First thing is to stop trying to fix yourself and forcing yourself to do things that you don't really want to do. Yep, I'm saying it. Don't force yourself into doing things that you're not in love with. If you don't love cardio, don't do cardio. If you are not in love with running, don't think that the only way to get better at something is to go run. You can, a lot of people want to lose weight or eat better or just feel better about themselves. And so first thing they do is I can start running. And that's not everyone's cup of tea. I ran track all from 7th grade through college. And so I loved running, absolutely loved it. I don't love running anymore. So it's not the thing that I'm going to do. Something else that you can, people say, I want to do this. And so I'm going to fit into this crowd because I'm going to do what they're doing. And that's going to make me feel better. Not necessarily. If it's not something that you are in love with, stop trying to fix yourself, trying to find something fitting into somebody else's mold, and start loving who you are and adopting and accepting the blessings of who you are, even if it makes you unique. In fact, that's even better if it makes you unique. Breaking the chain of moving from one thing to the next and trying to fit into the role that's not right for you, and by taking some time to really figure out what do you find meaningful and joyful, and how can you pursue that in your life instead of following somebody else's should-haves, could-haves, would-haves, somebody else's suggestions. What you can do and feel purposeful, feel in control, and feel good about yourself and see results in the process rather than constantly feeling exhausted, empty, and as if you can't be fixed. When you're trying to put yourself into somebody else's mold, if you're trying to put a square peg into a round hole, it doesn't work. So try doing what is best for you. Do what you need to do. So a good thing to do is try to get some momentum going. Try this simple exercise. I've done it in the past. I've had other people do it in the past. I've seen this exercise done and talked about many times. So it must be something to talk about, right? So what you're trying to do is get to the core, the root layer. In education, we talk about called peeling back the layers to finding the problem. So what is it that is at your core that you really want? Ask yourself, what do I want to accomplish? When you have got that answer, you ask the question again, why? And then when you have that answer, you can ask again, why? You do ask the why question 5 times until you can continue to peel back. And if you feel like you need to go farther, keep asking why. So not really sure where to begin. This is kind of where I started when I was trying to figure out, where I wanted to do with physically with my body. So what do you want to accomplish? I want to stop snacking and binge eating all the time, right? Well, why do you want to stop doing that? Well, I want to feel confident. I want to feel in control of my body. Why do you want to do that? Well, I want to feel confident. I want to feel like I can walk into a room and be there and not feel judged. All right. So how can you do that? So I can stop avoiding social situations and feel self-conscious about being overweight. Well, why do you want to stop avoiding social situations? Because I want to start living again. I want to be a part of a community. Friendship is a part of who we are. And if you feel like you're separated from that, that's hard. So why do you want to start living again? So I can make the most out of my life and stop wasting life hating how I look and feel, right? So you just keep going. The final answer really puts you in touch with the painful situation that you're in and really helps you identify what the problem is so you can come up with a solution for it. I don't ever want to relive that part of my life again. I want to be so much more than that. I want to live outside of that struggle. I want to keep going in a way that's going to help not only myself live better, but the people around me live better. Strong women empower women, right? So finding people, surrounding myself with people that wanted to do the same things, that radiate the self-love that I wanted, what radiated the abundance of life that I wanted, and finding people that can help program myself and help stick together and focus on the goals together was something that I really needed to do. So the final answer really put me in touch with the situation at hand. I was able to then come up with a solution and then work towards that progress. Yours, like mine, will serve a compelling reason to put you to work, get you to make a step forward. What you want to accomplish, what you want to set out to do, that is maybe like the symptom or the surface level. But when you dig deep down, you're going to figure out what exactly you're struggling with and find that missing dot that you're trying to do to connect the dots to make the picture of life. The second thing you can do is focus on things that you can control instead of focusing on the outcomes. So a lot of people, when they start, they want to focus on the things that they have really no control over, the end outcome of something. So there's always going to be, yes, you want to set a goal of like, this is where you want to go, but you got to be firm on the goal, but be flexible in how you get there, because it's going to be hard. There are going to be roadblocks. There are going to be barriers. There's a million things that are completely out of your control. The weather, natural disasters, what other people think of you, how you present, how you're presented to other people, the colleagues' insensitive comments about your weight maybe, or how people think. You can't control those things. However, a million other things that you can control are your own thoughts. We have a million thoughts that run through our head every day, and if you can control these up here, you're not going to care so much about what other people think, because you give yourself that power. All the little habits that you can nurture and get going is what you have to get going in the direction that you want to go to be something. Wake up 30 minutes earlier to plan your day. Park a little farther away to get your daily 10,000 steps in. Make a beeline for the colleague's desk for a stress-relieving chat instead of to the pantry where to get to the donuts. Or responding to the emails at fixed times during your day so you can work more efficiently and leave the office by 5 o'clock so you can be home with your kids instead of hanging out longer and doing somebody else's dream. 1 week at a time, ask yourself, how am I doing? Even every day, evaluate how you're doing on your goals. What can you tweak for the next day? Think about the things that you can control and get rid of the things that you can't control. Remember that you're not perfect and you don't need to be perfect. If you're waiting for yourself to be perfect, that's going to be a long wait because you're not always going to get there. But get to know yourself. What is it that you struggle with? What is it that you are good at? What is it that you can move forward with? And then forgive yourself for the things. Let go of the past. Let go of the bad deeds. Let go of the shame. Live to amend yourself in situations that you can keep moving. The third thing that you can do is to get out of the race. Life is not a competition. If you are always looking at the people beside you, you're going to feel defeated because you're watching somebody else in their journey and not living your own journey. Sometimes, we talk about this in coaching is like staying in your lane. Like if you're running a race, as a track athlete in the past, like when I was running a race, say I was running a 400 and, all of a sudden I'm running and I see these people come up beside me. It makes me panic a little bit because I need to go faster and I want to be them. I want to keep going with them. But you know what? If you're in the grind and you're running your own race and focusing on your own steps and your own breathing and your own momentum, you're going to go faster, farther than if you're always focusing on what somebody else is doing and not on yourself. You start thinking about what they're doing and then you start to drift into their lane and try to do what they're doing, and that's not your race. It's not your journey. So you have to get back in your own lane. You have to know your grind, know what you're doing. The go, deadlines are close, time is money, get going and keeping up with the Joneses, the clock is ticking, the promotion's up for grabs, the thinner you are, the more popular you'll be. All of these chaos things are running through your head and they're simply not true. You don't have to be go, 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 go. You don't have to be in the grind all the time. You don't have to keep up with the Joneses because technically you're not a Jones, right? It's okay to be who you are and know what where your worth is definitely in your lane, in your place. So stop trying to compare. Comparison takes all joy out of everything in life. Maybe, if the rush is for bigger, better, faster, thinner, keep living on that burnout mode, unhealthy, depressed, and frustrated situation, you're just going to feel blah. But if you can get back in your lane, if you can let go, sorry about that. If you can get back in the competition and really, consider tweaking your priorities. Wouldn't digging deep, zeroing on your deepest desires and taking careful, methodical steps towards leaving that, to finding that calmer, happier, your best shape ever, focusing on what matters about you in the long run, wouldn't that make you feel amazing? The less you can focus on competing with other people, comparison in other people's worlds, the more time you'll have spent to nurture you and your happiness and reaching your full potential. So guess what? It's time to give up on all of that stuff that is holding you back. It's time to throw in the towel on trying to live somebody else's life, trying to run that race that is not yours, trying to compare yourself to other people's journeys. It's time to give up on trying to focus on fixing yourself and really focus on what you're good at. John Addison, like I mentioned earlier today, said, if you really look and examine the life of what you're good at without trying, those are the things that you should really be trying at, not the things that you really stink at. So if you're really bad at it, it's probably for a good reason. There's not saying that you can't get better at things, that you shouldn't try to improve your life in certain areas. But if you are doing something because it's fun and you love it and it puts you in that flow where you lose time and you don't have to put a lot of effort into it, that's probably an indication that that's what you're meant to be doing. That's what you love doing, and that's where you find your greatest joy. So then put some effort behind it and do more of it, and you'll feel more fulfilled and more happy. Focus on the things that you can control instead of the things that you can't control, and run your own race. Stop comparing yourself to other people and be the very best self that you can possibly be. So those are the three things that you can do today to find your own potential, be your best self, and to really get out there and live your best life. Find your best potential instead of trying to live up to somebody else's expectations of you. If you're ready to throw in the towel and walk away again, I encourage you to take a break. Take a break in this cycle, head in the right direction by finding what your joys are, how you can stop comparing yourself to other people, and how you can really learn to love who you are meant to be and not who somebody else wants you to be. All right. I hope today that you're able to surround yourself with people who radiate love, who radiate abundance, who radiate the things that fill you up with joy, and that you're able to rise up today out of your current situation to live your absolute best life. That's all I have for you this morning. I hope that you come back here to Public House Media on Friday and check out my show again. We'll be talking about something else amazing and uplifting, whatever God lays on my heart. So today's was brought to you by my morning podcast that I listen to daily. My personal development that I read every day, and just the stuff that God's laid on my heart. And all my alarms keep going off to say. So if you can, be uplifted by that, I hope if you are inspired today by this, that you reach out to Public House Media and let them know, or that you share it with a friend. Hit subscribe, hit share, let other people hear this podcast and this video, and let other people be inspired. I hope today that you have a wonderful day and that you rise up to be your absolute best self. Talk to you on Friday.